Welcome to the What's Your Weird Story podcast.
Everyone has at least one good story.
And some of us have stories that are just to the left of normal.
We're interested in the ones that push the boundaries of what we can perceive.
Stories that defy explanations.
Stories with an air of mystery.
Stories we might not share
for fear of being thought of differently.
But don't worry, we're all friends here. So, what's your weird story?
Hello, Weirdsville. Welcome to the What's Your Weird Story podcast. We hope you're doing well, dodging hurricanes or the fires, COVID-19, all the crazy stuff that's going on. I'm your host, Barry Johnston. With me, as always, my counterpart, Mr. Adam Beebe. How are you, sir?
Hey, Barry. I'm doing all right. I am, I'm in the that kind of safe area there in the middle, and so I'm not having hurricanes and I'm not having the fires, and I'm glad that, man, I tell you what, my heart goes out to everybody in California because, beyond the fact that it's just, terribly hot summer there, everything is just burning, man, and it's scary.
It is. It's really, it is scary. I've got some friends out there. I actually got a friend that kind of lives up in the Portland area, and I saw that he posted that he was leaving because it looked like the fires were spreading up into that area. Don't know where we're sitting as far as that's concerned, but I hope everybody's doing okay and everybody's safe. And it's been kind of around here. It's been pretty mellow as far as the weather goes. It's been pretty dry, although we had a ton of rain for the last few weeks, so it's okay that it's dry. Starting to feel a little bit like fall, a little bit. I could use some cooler temps, but other than that, things are going good, man. Just working and doing the bit,
Yeah, man. Yeah, I bet you are doing well. I bet you got a lot of the sports, the fall sports that are going on. How's that going? Since obviously it's
it's going. Yeah,
it's apocalypse year. So,
it's weird.
It's different than everything else.
It's so weird because we didn't think that we'd play any more games after Friday. They thought that they were going to have to shut it down, but the COVID cases have been going down, so I think we're in the clear for the next few weeks anyway. So in that respect, it's been a little bit strange because it's just there's nothing normal about it, and it's just hard to kind of get yourself in a groove when you don't know what's coming. It's hard to feel good about things when everything's kind of up for grabs. But other than that, it's been good. It's my son is a senior this year. Liam, he's a senior, and so we're trying to just get through the year. And hopefully he has, a senior year that he can remember forever. But, it's just been a weird one, man. And I feel bad for the kids. That's really, it's tough when you're a kid, and a lot of kids are staying home with their parents. I can't think of anything worse than being like a 16-year-old kid and having to hang out with your parents all day. Golly, man. So in that respect, but we'll make it through it. It's okay. It's just kind of the way it's got to be right now. Hopefully we'll get back to normal.
Yeah.
But we're just, we're staying positive and doing our thing, man. How about you? How's everything going out in your neck of the woods?
Good, man. We are starting to slowly make that decline into kind of some fall weather as well. It's been pretty nice, we've had a few days where I'm like, oh, maybe I should put on the long pants.
Ooh, yeah.
That's where we're getting at. So we break out the hoodie. Nice. Tell you what, get a crispness in the air.
Yeah.
That's what I really enjoy. But we're not there just yet. We're still got a week or two of kind of like, am I summer? Am I fall? Am I summer? Am I fall? That coming up. So
sure.
So I don't know, but hey, I on a completely unrelated note, but something that you might find quite interesting. I don't know if you saw this in the news. I just saw it today, right before we got on here. Scientists think they may have found possible signs of life on Venus.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's some kind of a gas in the planet's atmosphere that scientists seem to think that has to be created by life. Now, I haven't really gotten too much to dig into it too much.
Interesting.
Because, I mean, Venus is to humans, it's highly toxic and would kill us. We would not be able to survive on there. But they've got the atmosphere is extremely toxic, but apparently there might be signs of some kind of life on it. And so that's something we'll have to follow up more. But, you can research that on your own as well.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. What is it? What is the moon that is it one of Saturn's moons or that's the ice? I think
it may be Titan.
Yeah,
but that's also where Thanos is from in the comics. So I could be getting those.
Well, it's
wrong, but there's definitely at least one of Jupiter's moons.
Okay.
Or is it Saturn? One of the two.
I don't remember.
But I mean, both of them have so many moons.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, just hundreds of moons,
But
they're out.
It looks like there may be water underneath the ice, so there's a good chance there's some life. And that is the whole Venus the story there. That's interesting. I didn't know that was out, and I'll check into that because that's fascinating to me. I think a lot of times we think of life and we think of like human beings, but that's, life comes in all shapes and sizes, and microbes and, microorganisms and single-celled organisms, those types of things those are the precursors to life and life itself. So, in a lot of ways, we wouldn't be here on the earth without those things. We are a part of that. And, we've
start from complex chains of protein to turn into single-celled organisms to multi-celled organisms to bigger and bigger and bigger kind of things in life. And we all, because it is a very human thing, and is our want, as it's what we do, is we put ourselves, because of we have all these things around us that we've created, culture and art and society and football and whatever, that we're on top of everything and we're the apex, and that nothing, we're not animals, we're people, we're different, but we are animals. But like you said, I mean, life on another planet could be it could be a single cell organism, could be sponges, could be something completely unimaginable, even through all of our works of fiction and fantasy, some completely unimaginable. So we simply do not know, but I mean, by sheer numbers, the odds are there's something else out there.
Speaking of that, have you seen those 4K images from Mars?
Which ones?
They've been put out. I had a friend who sent me a link maybe a month ago, but it is incredible. I mean, the cool thing is that they're taken in such high definition that you can really zoom in on stuff. Mm-hmm. Some of the pictures. So what they do is they take all these pictures, and then they overlay them. They take little snippets and then they put them all together, to create the larger image.
Yeah, they collage it.
Yeah, and one of them is it's like a dried up, like a lake, where they
like
think
a lake bed. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's so cool, man. It's like. It reminds me a lot of like being out in the desert. If you've ever driven out in the desert, and it's very sort of that kind of a feeling where I could just imagine standing on the surface of Mars, and those pictures really do make it come to life. It's really cool. If you get a chance, look it up online. It's the 4K images from Mars, and really cool stuff. If people are interested in that kind of stuff, it's a neat thing. So.
Yeah, and we know we know that there at least was water on Mars, and there still very well could be underneath the surface.
Yeah, the permafrost.
So I mean, there's a school of thought that that panspermia is that we all the life here on Earth could have come from Mars. I mean, could have because we know that there are chunks of Mars on Earth.
Yeah,
there are pieces of that planet that are here on Earth, that have come off somehow. So, I mean, long before life existed here, it was violence. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Like whenever, whatever it was that hit us and made the moon.
Yep. Exactly.
So,
I don't think people really think about that either. It's like we were getting pelted for millions and millions of years, and it's only been, in the last, I'd say maybe even the last 20,000, 30,000 years that things started to slow down a little bit, and we're not
even you could probably add a 0 to it even after that, for time scale, because cosmic time scale is we can't even think of it, a million years is like, a second or whatever,
So for sure, man. Cool stuff though.
Yeah.
So I mean, speaking of cool stuff, we've got a cool guest on, and this story, I've never heard one like it. It is bizarre.
Yes, this is completely unrelated to everything we've been talking about so far.
Yeah.
But this is definitely one of the weirdest stories. It certainly started off with one of the weirdest emails that we've got when people have contacted us saying, I've got something you may want to hear. So we were first a bit cautious when you hear this, the opening line, that of this email. But then, of course, as we got on to a little bit more, it's a very interesting story, and it's really well told. And our guest today is Bubs Harris, who is a comedian, and he's also a musician. He's in a punk rock band but that's new. They haven't quite done anything yet. We were talking to him. He told us about that, but he's here anyway to tell us. Should I tell him, Barry? Should I tell exactly what his weird story is, or should we just let it happen?
Let's let it happen.
All right, everybody, buckle in. This is his story, and so, Bubs, what's your weird story?
Oh man, I killed a man once.
Oh no,
that's right. I was on tour, and I used to have this little group of comics called the Deadbeats of Comedy, and we would interchange members, go on little tours. And on this particular tour, I was on with this dude Patrick Cunningham, and he's giving me he's like, you can use my name, I don't give a fuck, so hey Pat. Anyway, I'm on tour with Patrick, and I am kind of I don't even sound like I'm a dick about it, but I'm the guy, like, when we go on tour, I'll just take somebody who's a big personality because I have bad anxiety, and people coming up to me, flood me after a show and stuff, like, I'm just kind of like, ah! So I always bring, like, a bigger personality with me. And I'm the numbers guy, the guy that's like, okay, I'm going to take care of the booking, I'm going to take care of the driving, I'm going to take care of all this stuff, know. And he insisted that he books half this tour. And against my better judgment, I'm like, okay, man, you're going to get us to some cities I've never been before. These shows sound cool. I looked up this, club online. It looks dope. Like, let's check it out. So it turns out that, I don't like to drive more than 3 hours in between gigs. Like, it's a waste of a day. It's a costly, I planned tour routes. So I'm driving 4.5, 5 hours. He's like, oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. You're going to love this. And actually, this guy, I can do a good impression of him. His voice is, he has a very deep, like, hey, what's going on, man? Like, look, we're going to go to this city. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be people all over the place, man. They're going to be just stuffing dollar bills down your fucking asshole. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna fucking, oh my God, they're going to be having money coming out of your fucking nose. It's going to be great. So I'm like, awesome, cool. So we get to these shows, and there's nobody there at any of these shows. I'm not selling merch. Nothing's happening. You know what I mean? If anything, the merch I'm getting rid of is him coming up just going, hey, this is my boy fucking Bilbo. Like, give him a fucking T-shirt so he remembers us. I'm like, dude, these things, man.
It sounds like a rock and roll tour already.
Yeah. I mean, because we're not, that's, I guess, what we're known for, Yeah. Like, I've done a lot of shows with Stanhope, so if you know that.
I love Doug Stanhope, man. Oh, yeah.
I've opened for Stanhope a good few times.
Okay.
And So we're in that bracket.
Okay.
Of comedy,
Okay.
You know, loud, brash. You know what I mean, usually drunken. I don't drink anymore, but no, you know, we'll lead into that.
Okay.
So anyway, we're on this tour and like nobody's showing up, but I'm noticing like he's got Tinder dates in every one of these towns, and I'm like, am I toting you across country so that you can get Tinder pussy in every town that we are in, man? I'm single now, but I wasn't then, and I'm just like, this sucks, because I mean, I'd be out in my car like smoking blunts at fucking 4 a.m. waiting for him to fucking finish these chicks off, and it was always the hey man, she doesn't want to call an Uber, you know, an Uber's going to cost $24, and it's just like a mile down the street. You think you can drive her? Always. Every fucking time. And it was never a mile down the street. You know how that
of course.
never a mile down the street.
Right.
It was always crazy shit. So by the time we get to the end of this tour, and it was about a 2-week tour, we have 2 dates in Knoxville. And Knoxville, Tennessee, for us, is like home away from home type. You know what I mean? Like we can actually pull people out. We know a lot of the comics there. We just have a lot of friends there. And we have this one particular friend who, I mean, he's a great guy. He's changed his ways and everything, but he, at that time, I mean, he was just known for being had to be the biggest personality in the room, had to be the most brash, had to be, you know, just he was just kind of a dirtbag, you know what I mean, like the one-upper type. You know? So he was known for every time, anytime a young new like female comic would come on the scene, you know, he'd kind of get in there and be like, hey man, like I've done shows with so I booked this, I tour, you know, he would run that game on them, and they'd be like, oh, I want to do all that stuff, and then, you know, he would exploit that, and it was kind of gross, you know what I mean? And we've said stuff to him before, and that night it just boiled over. When we got to Knoxville, we ended up doing one show, and then we got completely hammer-faced drunk. And we were at this place, Sassy Ann's. It's not there anymore. They ended up getting rid of it. It was like an old whorehouse back in like the Prohibition days. Like all speakeasy whorehouse. It was great, but it was like 3 stories, wooden building, but it was like a club, and I mean, on each story was different shit. And I mean, it was frightening. You know what I mean? The place would be packed with people, 3rd level, dancing, you know, to house music, and I mean, you could just feel the building just like swaying. But really, a cool place. It's a great place. Anyway, it's not there anymore, and it sucks. But that place, just anytime I've ever been there, I just got way drunker than I need to.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I walk in there just going, man, this place does it to me every time. I just need 1 or 2, you know, I just need a couple. So I'm just a little something to wet the whistle. And I mean, it just never ends well for me. It never does.
Yeah.
So Patrick, who, I can give you like schematics of this dude, okay? Like, you're familiar with Masters of the Universe?
Oh yeah, of course.
Ram Man.
Okay.
Fucking Ram Man. This dude has no neck. He's only like 5'6", 7", something like that. But he is as wide as he is tall. He is the Mr. Happy. He's a fucking complete square. Like this guy. He used to be an army sergeant. He's, you know, and I mean, with a voice like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was like yelling at people. It's like, ah! So he's a mountain of a man.
Yeah.
All right. And
a small mountain.
This is before I started working out. You know, I went from 155 pounds to like I'm 205 now. I'm 204, 205, which is I put on some fucking weight, so I'm stoked on it. I think that's what I was trying to say earlier. It's just, I don't know. I lost myself in my gloating. Anyway, I'm a little dude at this point, and he had taken some pills that the VA gave him for like antipsychotics, and they were new. He had never tried them before. And he had just started taking them on this tour, and that was the first time that, I mean, he had a couple of beers here and there, but this was the first night that we're just fucking shot.
Right.
And they did not mix well.
Right. Yeah.
And the other guy, he's all up in our ear the whole night, just like, hey, you see that chick over there? Like, I'm going to take her home and fuck her. And we're like, yeah, but you going to smoke some weed with us first, right? Because like, we're on tour. We don't have anything on us, man.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go back to the hotel, okay? Actually, I was supposed to go back to the hotel by myself because of, Patrick's escapades with the ladies. He's like, I'm going to let you have the hotel room to yourself tonight. I'll stay over at old boy's house. But so we were making old boy's house, and at that point Patrick's just livid mad because he's like, he's taking this poor girl home to exploit her, and he's a sexual predator, and he's like, he's wrong. And the thing is like, he wasn't completely wrong, but he was just so into what he believed at that point that there was no letting it go.
Right.
You know what I mean? The only way to solve it is if he would have told that girl to go home. And I mean, Patrick the whole time was like, go home. Like, he doesn't like you. Like, he was breaking it down for this girl. And the whole time I'm like, dude, like, you make a solid point. And at that point, the other guy like stepped up and said something smart, and Patrick just, boom, waylays him.
Oh.
And I mean, like, straight up, like, slumped on the car and just kind of down the thing,
Yeah.
Comical. So comical.
Yeah.
It's funny that we're a bunch of comedians. And but anyway, this happens, and I'm just like, no. Like, we're not gonna do this. So we're like, one arm trying to hold back this freaking grizzly bear person, and the other hand, I'm over here like trying to pick up this other guy, and I'm like, I'm like, well, he kind of deserved that, so we're gonna let it slide. Like, let's break it up. And they get the other dude gets his wits about him. He starts talking more shit. Gets just decked again. Just hits the ground again. Still
twice in a row. Twice in a row.
Twice in a row. And I'm talking like UFC highlight reel knockout.
Damn.
I'm talking, this is the good stuff. This is the shit that you pay extra for.
Right.
So he gets up again, and I mean, he musters the only thing he knows to say. This guy, and Patrick, who is just already is just like, you just fucking don't. Okay, you don't want this. He is just sitting there waiting, just like, what are you going to say now? And that dude just looks him in his eye, and I'm not going to say what he said, but you know that every person has that one line,
Yeah.
At least one, I have like several. You could just be like, oh man, like, I hate Big Trouble in Little China, and I'm going to fight you.
Yeah. Right.
It doesn't take much.
Right.
But this dude, he has his thing, and that guy reached into his fucking stupid ass drunken bag of tricks and decided that he was going to say that one thing, and he got bull rushed by Patrick. And I mean, just it was like a fucking Fantastic Four, like it was clobbering time. Okay, like he has this guy and just like hand on his throat, and is just with hand. I got some pretty big hands. This guy is just hands twice my size, just pulling this guy's just Hulk smashing him into the
right.
Like if you saw the animated Hulk versus Thor, if you guys are just nerds, let's talk some nerd shit.
Yeah.
You saw the animated Hulk versus Thor movie they came out with when Hulk's just straight up just got him against the fucking mountain. Or I guess it's like some Dragon Ball Z shit, but I would rather go superhero than anime. Anyway, I digress.
I appreciate the superhero preference over Dragon Ball Z, but carry on.
Yeah. Like, look, yeah, I got a big ass Thor tattoo on.
Nice. Oh, well, I'm wearing a Hydra shirt. You can't really see it right now.
Oh, he's a bad guy.
Oh.
That's okay.
You can't see. I'm blending into my background there, and my beard is covering the other half. I saw your Cobra.
Yeah, the Cobra. I got the Cobra.
Yeah.
It's but yeah, man. I've always liked the villains and stuff too. So anyhow, speaking of the villains, the villain he's getting his face smashed in at this point, and I'm like, all right, I have to do something.
Right.
So I jump on this fucker's back, Patrick's back, who,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I can barely get my arms around him. I jump on his back like I'm fucking Tim McGraw on the last day of his life. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm skydiving. But I was like, the only thing I know is, like, I got to start, like, choking this dude out. So it's just like, I'm all fucking, big joke. And he goes out, but we're in Knoxville, Tennessee, in the mountains, and the yard is on like a goddamn 90-degree, just boom. So he falls with his feet up top and his head down here. And I'm going to check on the guy who just got his face half caved in.
Yeah.
And something in me is like, when, I go to start helping him up, and, the girl's still there, like, screaming and all hysteric, and I'm like, you just help him. I'm going to go check on him and make sure, roll him over. Because I forgot to roll Patrick over on his side. Big mistake, because he had swallowed his tongue.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a good, I don't know, somewhere between 60 and 90 seconds has elapsed by this time.
Oh, wow.
He, has evacuated. He was a dead dude, you know what I mean? He was cold, dead, stiff.
Man.
Fucking, like, I'm like, oh my God. But I immediately just, like, down I went. Took these two fingers, like Puck from the Real World eating cereal, right? You remember that?
That's a deep cut, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I did my finger spoons. And I'm telling you, like, this is how this all ties together, okay? So I take my finger spoons and I dig this dude's tongue out of his throat, and you don't understand, like, how fucking long these things are.
Yeah.
Until you've seen somebody swallow.
Right. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
So, like, I pull this thing out, and it's like fucking, like, symbiote tongue, just and I have to, like, kind of, like, keep it, like,
how did you
like a dog when the dog's real tired after a walk? Like,
how did you fit your hand far enough down in there, man? Like, did you just
my finger spoons? I mean, I got long ass fingers.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm 6'3" and skinny. Like, it's all lanky. That's like my thing. I got these Angus Scrim fingers. I can just fucking fantastic this shit out of there, right?
Right.
That is my thing, man. I like to make the pop culture references. That's how I can understand the world around me. I have to.
It's totally relevant, and everybody, I mean, it's a very contemporary. Everybody does use pop culture references because that's what unites. We all have this similar kind of background, and you can generally tell somebody, especially the age of somebody, about around what pop references they use.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? I'm over here just straight 80s, early 90s, like
yeah.
Flying them off. But yeah, that's it. I just, I hooked in there and got up under enough to where I could start pulling that thing out. And, I flopped it over to the side and fucking had to go in straight up. And I mean, it's just like in the movies, you know what I mean? When they got to give somebody the CPR, it's like they don't want to. They're just like, I didn't have time to. I mean, I just, like, as I'm going down to give this man CPR, it's just drool, tongue, shit, just whiskey breath at the same time, you know what I mean? And I'm over here just like, fuck. So, like, I start CPRing the dude, nothing's happening. Fucking chest compressions, nothing. Everything I knew to do, nothing's working. And then finally, I just give him the old Charlton Heston fucking, damn you! And hammer down, brother.
Yeah.
Hammer down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
called upon the Thunder God, and I fucking just, bam! Not today, bitch! And he fucking
whoa.
starts gasping for breath. and it just terrifying. You know, the whole time I'm like, he's got brain damage, but at least he's alive.
Right.
Right.
Know, so like I make sure that like, you know, he's gonna stay alive, but he's still just waking coma, just in the back of his head, you know, gasping for air, just trying to get anything he can, speaking not a word. By this time, EMTs and stuff had arrived because the little girl who's this was all over, you know, as this man's trying to defend her honor,
right,
traumatizing her for life. She had called 911. They show up and they're like, sir, can you tell me what's going on here? And you go, Tennessee.
Yeah.
So they're just like, what's going on here? So I give them, you know, the breakdown of what's happened. And they're just like, well, seems like you got it. I'm like, wait,
What?
Yeah, they're like, well, we can't take him away. We can't do anything with him unless he says he wants medical attention.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, dude, look at this guy. Look at him. He's over.
Right.
Like he needs medical attention.
Ooh.
Like he has to have medical attention right now. Like he's brain dead. He was just dead, man. Like he's in a pile of his own fucking,
right.
You know what I mean, waste. He's look at his pants. He pissed himself and shit. Like, come on, man. Like, how much more medical attention does this motherfucker need?
Right.
And they're just like, well, hold on a second. Sir, would you like medical attention?
Fuck.
This motherfucker here, who has not said a word in 15 minutes, just lets out his best Ma Fratelli impression and just goes, no.
Oh, no. Oh.
And they're just like, all right, Bill. There goes the dog. Yeah, so they're just like, all right, man. Like, they pieced the fuck out.
Wow.
Man.
God.
Yeah, like they got the fuck out of there.
Oh,
it was bonkers. So,
wow.
Yeah. So, and at this time, you know, they're like, sir, do you want to press charges? And he's just like, no, man, I just want to get out of here. He like hops in the car with Chick and gets the fuck out of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm left, and at this time it starts raining. So I'm sitting here on this hill in Knoxville, holding this like 300-some-pound man, cradled in my arms, in the rain, just with him going, what happened? What is going on? Why am I sitting here? What the fuck is going on? Like, why am I sitting? Why did I pee myself? What is going on? And I'm just over there just like, well, baby, mama had to kill you. But it's okay. I done brought you back.
Oh, my God.
Dude.
You owe me your life. I'm your God now. But really, you know, speaking of the pop culture and all that stuff, it's like those guys really owe me their fucking lives, both of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To the fact that, like, I have done jack shit with mine. Like, I have watched so much television and shit, and I equate, like, what I've seen on television and movies is just like, oh, shit, that might work in real life, you know, or at least, like, some
Right.
facsimile thereof. And, like, that's what happened. Is like, basically, had I not watched so much fucking UFC and listened to Joe Rogan ramble on about the proper way to sink in a rear naked choke,
Right.
that shit, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have got it.
Yeah.
That would not have happened.
Well,
I not had a bitch ex-girlfriend that made me watch every goddamn episode of Grey's Anatomy because I said I hadn't seen it. It would have been a beautiful day to save a life, fellas.
Well, hey, man, I mean, to have the mental fortitude, dude, to fucking do what needed to be done. I mean, you were just when shit like that happens and you don't have time to figure it out. You just react. And the fact that you reacted the way that you did, you're right. Both of those guys owe you, because if you'd have let that shit go, the one guy would have been probably dead because he beat the fucking dog shit out of him. And the other, and the guy that you were lucky enough to get onto his back the people don't understand. The rear naked choke is a safe way to knock somebody out. It's a blood choke. It's not a trauma choke. It's not brain trauma.
Right, exactly.
Right. So if you know how to do that, or you've seen, I hate to even say, don't give credence to watching something, but if you're lucky enough to pull something off that you had seen done, and you were lucky enough to know that when the guy was out, you get off of him, and you did the right thing, dude. You did the right thing. I mean, there's nothing else you could do. You're talking about a big dude. The only way to subdue him is to choke him. I mean, to get him out.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, dude, that's amazing.
Well,
that's an amazing story.
If I wouldn't have, not only would the other guy probably been dead, or at the very least, I mean, fucking Rocky George for the rest of his life. You know?
Right.
He was heading towards some serious trauma.
No kidding.
And the other guy would be in prison for
right.
You know,
no shit.
I diffused a few different situations and scenarios there.
Totally, dude.
So what was
I think it's also because I'm a father. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I don't think about that too much, but I mean when they're little and stuff, and they go to like flip over the couch, and you're just like on your phone scrolling, and like
right,
boom, like you know, what I mean?
Right.
Like, snatching kids out of midair, like it becomes second nature. It's just like, oh my god, I have to help.
Right.
Like.
Did you what did your friend? What was the conversation like with the friend like the next day?
Really?
Okay, well here's the thing. It's just like next day. It's just like bebop doop 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 doop. Like he's like, oh, nothing happened. Like nothing. He's you know what I mean? Like nothing doing. You know.
Wow.
The other dude, I go over to his house and I give him like. Because, the other dude I'd been on tour with probably 7-8 times. I mean, I'd spent so much time on the road with this guy. So I was like, look, man, like, you got to change your ways. Like, stop being this mega personality that you think you have to be, and just be yourself, man.
Right.
Just get your shit together. You got a kid now. Like I just, I gave him that dad talk.
Right.
I didn't want to have to, because it's your friend. You don't want to have that talk. But I gave him that one, and he was all cool with it. The other one, he's acting like nothing fucking happened. He's just like, oh yeah, fuck that guy, whatever, no big deal.
Right.
We had one more show, and mind you, the whole time, I'm not getting paid on the road because the motherfucker's doing Tinder shows, right?
Right. Yeah, you're having to fucking, like, you're having to jump into fights and save lives, and you're not getting fucking paid for it, man.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I do that sometimes, like at local music venues and stuff. Like, I've been to do that, but I get paid for it.
Right.
Or at least some free food or some shit. Right. Like, wait a minute, I get into the show for free, and you'll give me some soda pop. Okay. Right. I'll do it. I'll tell the guys smoking weed inside that they gotta take it outside. I got you. So anyway, like, yeah, man, like it's fucking crazy. So I'm like, we have one more show, because we had 2 shows in Knoxville. We have one more show, and I know it's gonna be a good one because Knoxville, like it always comes through. So we do the show, and I mean the whole time I'm just like, okay, like stumbling through it, like I never, like I'm not the nervous type when I'm telling my shit. As you guys can see, I can tell a story pretty good, I guess.
Yeah.
So, the entire time, like I'm rattled, So I fucking get my money, and at the time, and mind you, you're gonna go, wait a second when I tell you this. Patrick's wife. Showed up to that show.
There's a problem.
Well, actually, they had the poly and the poly.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm not one to judge,
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. So, but it's still, his wife showed up to that thing, so I'm just like, hey, you know what? I was like, you're riding home with her? I'm not, because he was like, well, she's gonna leave after the show. I was like, I guess you're leaving after the show, because so am I. And then I fucking got my money, and I got the fuck out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and I drove the full 8.5 whatever hours back to Pensacola. I got home at, I think, like 6:30 in the morning. I got a couple hours of sleep. I jumped up. I mowed my fucking grass. I was like, oh, my grass! My lovely home.
You do live in Florida, so I'm sure it grows the majority of the year.
Yeah, it does. It
Yeah,
does. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, this was in July, so like this
Yeah.
was 2 years ago. This past July.
Okay, wow.
So, yeah, man. Like, and the thing is I run a annual homeless charity festival with like music, comedy, art, all kinds of stuff. It's like a big 2-day festival, depending on what the venue will agree with it. But it's always usually 2 days.
Cool.
But it's all the charity. Everybody donates everything to the local homeless community. Everything. And it's called Feeding the Urban Homeless Community.
Okay.
Or FUCK. It's the acronym FUHC.
Okay.
And it's called Fuck Fest.
Okay, man. I love it.
So we do this every year, and the whole Deadbeats comedy crew, like they did the first one, and we were all close, and I was like, you guys, any year that we do it, you guys are welcome. Like anytime, we got room for you guys. So I had to tell those guys, I was like, you're not coming to my fest, right? Because my shit was in August, and this just happened in July.
Right.
And the guy who, got his ass kicked initially was like, yeah, man, I get it. Like, appreciate you coming to me and letting me know before I drove down, and I'm like, yeah, man, it's just, it's what it is. Like, I just don't want to see you. The other guy, like Patrick, he's like, man, I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Why would you kick me off the festival? Like, it's a huge thing. Like, I've been looking forward to it, and I was doing the right thing. I wasn't wrong. I'm trying to explain to him. I was like, look, man, it's not that you were wrong. I was like, you were out of sorts because of your medication. You were upset, and you really had a good point.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, I had to fucking kill you to get you to stop killing him. I just don't want to see you, man.
I just want to say that.
I'm gonna fist bump and be like, "Boo!"
Right.
All right, what's happening, man?
Right.
Like,
right. I just
how you living?
when the story started, I just couldn't believe that it was real. Like what you said about I killed a guy. I was like, yeah, that's funny. But then I'm like, wait a minute, you fucking killed a guy. Holy shit, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool having sons, man, because it's like they'd be like, yeah, man, did you Dad like killed a guy once, right? Like he's the fucking
wow.
Like, you get it right. Like, you know what I mean? Like I got that legend building.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
I'm gonna be Bill Bradsky whenever I
Bill Bradsky. Yeah.
Yeah, when they like at my funeral, like people are gonna be just like, you remember that one time he was wrestling an alligator with his left hand while making boudin sausage with the other.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, that's great.
it's like that guy was 12 feet tall, a Viking warrior. I don't think he was that big. Yeah, man. I mean, it's one of those stories that's just so insanely crazy, and that's actually how I got in touch with you guys, is because Jeremy Cutthroat from Cutthroat Freak Show was like, man, there's this weird story podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. Like, you got to check this out. And then I started noticing you like pop up on Instagram and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Big Brother's spying on me. So I started following and noticed that Violet went on there and Scarlet and stuff.
Yeah.
all these different shades of clown.
Yeah. We love them, man. They're huge. They've been a huge.
Scarlet's one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
Like, one of my very favorite people. Her and Jeremy and Queen Monkey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Queen Monkey. She was the one when I went on tour with them last October. It was her and Jeremy and I, and then we all reconnoitered in New Orleans and did a big show. It was Scarlett, Jeremy. I say a big show, and I mean that just by the number of performers, because I think there was maybe like 4 people.
Yeah. Right.
When you do New Orleans, you do it big.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You do. You got to.
That's how. Yeah. You know what I mean? I pack them in. I'm a Gulf Coast staple, man. Like those 4. I think I brought those 4 people. So
Good. Good.
Take that credit.
There you go.
Good. Well, anybody.
My friend was actually sick. Like we went early. Like, so we had spent. Bessie and I, we like just eating just shrimp and crawfish everything and fucking, you know, just walking around. Just, you know what I mean? We did it big easy style.
Yes.
And so by the time of this show, like, she's not feeling good, and she's just like, oh, I gotta go. And I was like, no, you're gonna fucking stay. Nobody's here. Like, you're gonna suffer through this. And also because there was some other, I had a little datey date there.
Nice.
She was like, she was shot. And she's like, what do you mean? You don't want to hang out? I'll take you home. I'll take you wherever you need to go. And I'm just like, you know what? No, it's okay. I'll get in an Uber. There was a time in my life where I would have been like, sure, I'll just jump into any car with anybody driving, but no.
Yeah.
Like, no, man.
Yeah.
Again, I want to stay alive for a while.
Right.
That's something I'm into. It's one of my hobbies.
Yeah, of course.
You know, breathing is so underrated. You know, people are just like, they don't think about how awesome that shit is. But, you know, sometimes you just be like, man, breathing is just the tits.
Breathing's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, that's the thing about New Orleans too, man, is that, like, especially if you know somebody that's from there, you can get in trouble, dude, because everybody drinks.
Well, yeah.
And everybody knows a bartender, and everybody knows 10 bartenders. So by the end of the night, you're just hammered, man. I mean, I remember This particular lady was a bartender. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, so it's like she was wanting to take me on the trippy trip,
yes.
And I'm like, I don't even fucking drink. And when I say I don't drink, like I say, it's very rare that I do it. If I do, again, it's just like I would like a nice beer that would complement this meal, or a nice scotch after a you know, long, hard, whatever. But like I just don't get down anymore like I used to.
Sure.
Like I had a problem, whatever. It wasn't good for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to make that choice. Like, no.
Sure.
Do that. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the weird story.
Oh,
dude, that was awesome.
Oh my god!
Wow. I knew Barry was gonna love it. To be honest, I knew Barry was gonna love it.
It's great.
Jared said I had to tell you guys that. He's like, man, they're gonna love that story, and he makes me tell. He's made me tell it on stage before, and I'm like, you know, it's like there's funny things to it, but I haven't made a bit out of it.
Yeah,
sure.
But you know, it's just, he's like, dude, that's just one of those crazy things. Like, you just have to tell everybody.
Oh, so good. You know, our listeners are gonna love it, dude. Love it.
Good, man. I'm glad. Like, it's just one of those things, man. I mean, everybody thinks like the touring comedy life is, you know, just gonna be like fucking chucklehead all the time.
Right.
It's like, it's really not. I mean, there are crazy things like that happen. I mean, dudes get into fist fights and shit all the time. Like, you know, it's wild, the stuff that you'll see in the back alley behind.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, what I want you to promote your stuff, man. That's part of what we do. You know, we want people to, you know, if you got websites or whatever, man, you know.
Yeah, man. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, with the whole pandemic thing.
I know, yeah.
You know, just being a parent now, like, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to kind of Rick Moranis through this pandemic thing and take care of the kids. And I moved, so I'm putting together this house and everything.
Cool.
It's the fucking money pit, man.
Yeah.
I swear to God, like, keep having to fix things. So,
hey, are you guys?
I'm doing that, and I'm working, but I also I play guitar and I sing in a punk rock band called Pauper's Grave.
Okay,
cool.
So you can look us up. We're Pauper's Grave Punk Rock on Instagram. I'm the Mighty Bubs, all one word, and it's BUBBS, like Bubba, but with an S instead of an A. Mm-hmm. And you find me on Instagram. That's usually what I do most. And I mean, you never know what I'm gonna throw up there. It's usually like motivational workout posts when I go to the gym, and then a lot of pictures of my dog and you know, things like that. But once shows and everything start kicking back in, then you'll see an influx of cool things. You know, I still do stand up, but I also have a drag character called Helen A. Handbasket, and she going to do some weirdo shows. Like I'm going to get back up with those Cutthroat kids, and we're going to end up tearing ass across the country.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So as soon as everything's clear for takeoff, I mean, it's going to be cool.
Good.
I'm hoping. It's it's up in the air right now, but I'm not. There's a lot of artists that are like dying for the attention and like, oh my God, I need the stage, and I'm not one of those. I'm just kind of like, I love entertaining, but fuck, I got
you got other shit to do. Right. Yeah, for sure.
Like, I got things to do.
Right.
Like, so I'm keeping myself occupied.
Good.
But I am excited to get back out and start doing it. Well, you guys stay in touch, man.
Okay, man.
Yeah, dude.
Facebook. I'm just Rob Harris on Facebook, but you'll find me if you type in Bubs Harris. It'll probably still bring me up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Cool. All right,
cool, man. Well, I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, dude. Hey man, did I ever tell you about this recent thing that happened to me? I was driving around in the country and it was just after dusk. So there's a little bit of light still coming on out of the sky, but it was mostly dark. I saw this black school bus.
I don't think I've ever heard this.
Okay, so I saw this black school bus. All the windows were tinted and it started following me for about 15 minutes.
Whoa, no.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I was at work. I was making deliveries and I just kept making my deliveries and like it would even stop and wait for me.
Oh.
And but it was never close enough to where I could see it or anything, but it was following me, man.
Wow. Dang.
That's just an example of another really weird story that happened to me and that could have happened to you. You don't have to have a UFO encounter. You don't have to have seen the ghost of your grandmother. You don't have to know what Bigfoot smells like to have had a weird story. Basically, what we're saying is weird covers a lot of ground here on the What's Your Weird Story podcast. And we love hearing all of your stories, whether they're spooky, they're funny, they're bizarre, or they're just short, sweet, and unexplained. Kind of like our podcast.
Hey, that's a nice t-shirt you got on there.
Oh, thanks, dude. It's brand new. Do you like that? It's one of the official What's Your Weird Story t-shirts.
Where'd you get that?
It's funny that you ask. I just got it off the brand new Spreadshirt.com site for the What's Your Weird Story podcast. There's no www. You just go straight to shop.spreadshirt.com/what's without the apostrophe WHATS hyphen YER-WEIRD-STORY, and that'll take you right there.
I mean, you can never own enough clothing.
Well, it's true, Barry. There's t-shirts for the ladies because, they're cut differently. There's hoodies, which are really cool. There's 2 different kinds of hoodies, and there's also tote bags, so you can tote your stuff.
That's so cool, man.
So if you guys go out to spreadshirt.com, What's Your Weird Story, currently there are 2 designs, but there will be more going up very soon. So just keep your eyes out for that. And if you decide to get one of our shirts, tag yourself on Instagram to ours or Facebook. Show your love. Show us what you got. Let's see your true colors.
Bubs was put into a position. He had no choice. He had to do what he had to do.
Yes. And then he had to fix it.
Yeah. Wow.
Dude.
That is a crazy story. And when you first, we were talking to him in the beginning, and before he started, he had said, I had to kill a guy. I thought it was tongue in cheek. I didn't realize that he was serious about it. I was like, whoa, this story is wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Certainly something we haven't had here on the show. Yeah, man, but he prevented his friend from killing that guy because he was probably would have.
Yeah.
Not intentionally, but he just would have,
right.
Probably beat that guy to death.
Yeah, he was blacked out. It sounded like to me. He wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't. He was blacked out, but functioning.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just wild, and I mean,
dude.
wow. Hey, choking people is serious business, man. You know, you don't choke somebody if you don't understand what you're doing. So the blood choke is the safest way to do that, you know, but still you need to be very careful when you're doing that with someone. You can cause some damage.
Yeah. And just having the wits about him in his state, because, you know, like they were all extremely intoxicated. Mm-hmm. Just to have the wits about him enough, and of course, you know, the adrenaline's going to hit when something like that's happening. That's going to level you out some, but, you know, just enough of it was happening where he was leveled out enough to think to pull his tongue, you know,
right,
stick his fingers way down there and pull that tongue out, dude.
Wow. The other night I was sleeping, and I think I choked on my tongue a little bit. I don't know. It woke me up. I started coughing. Mm-hmm. And I thought about that as soon as I woke up. I'm like, that's what it must have been like, you know. But, you know, choking on your tongue, that's obviously totally different thing than swallowing your tongue.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, I mean, thank God that it worked out the way that it did, and it didn't go the other way, because it could have been bad.
Could have been real bad.
Yeah, could have been, man. But wow, what a great story, man. And what a great storyteller.
Yeah, for sure.
He was a lot of fun to talk to, and just a funny guy.
Yeah. Well, it was a blast, and you can see why I'd like to catch his like routine sometime. You know, just all that, because I mean, he's around our age, so he's gonna, you know, as he said, he uses a lot of pop culture references. Yeah. And we're definitely, you know, we definitely get that. So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll have to let's see if we can find some of that online or something. I don't know. We should have asked him. I didn't think to, but
yeah, man. Well, with the COVID thing, I'm sure there's not a whole lot of performing going on. Maybe in small doses, but yeah, you know, I love comedy. Comedy is one of my great pastimes. I thank God for great comedy podcasts. I get lost in them, and I need laughter in my life. You know, I need. Because it's just, we can get bogged down with a lot of things, and there's a lot of things you can get yourself into. You can get yourself into negative headspace if you allow yourself. And comedy just allows relief, you know, allows you to step out and take a look at things from a different point of view, and just laugh about it. You know, what are you gonna do? I mean, 2020 has been such a shit fest. Why not laugh about it?
Exactly. Just remember that, you know, sometimes it's okay not to take life so seriously.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
Or to appreciate. Sometimes it's okay to embrace absurdity, like, you know, and a lot of, you know, comedy and just outrageous things, and just enjoy it for being silly and laugh at it, because it is. Laughing is a great release of, you know, and it releases those chemicals in your brain and everything like that. So
absolutely.
Yeah, man.
And hopefully we give you guys a little bit of stepping outside of the norm of what you guys, you know, are consuming on a daily basis, be it, you know, work or, you know, stuff that you go through in your life. You know, hopefully that's what we can do here is give you a chance to step into a different world and, you know, get to know some people that, you know, are pretty interesting folks. So,
and also, you know, to share your own stories,
exactly,
you know, to share directly with us, step into our world of Weirdsville, and you know, tell us what's going on in what's happened in your world. And we, you know, we love that. And again, you know, we say it all the time, but it's literally, we can't do the show without you guys, you know, listening and participating. And we appreciate your support, and we now have support from our first couple of patrons on our Patreon account.
Awesome,
and could not be more thrilled and more thankful for them. And they are our good buddy Metis.
Nice, thank you, Metis.
Metis has done so much for this podcast. You know, just. And behind the scenes, and just being an advisor and a technical advisor, and so much, and he's helped us out so much, and is helping us out so much more on that end. And just, you know, so go listen to Metis's his two podcasts with Metis Pod and Fun Fact Friday. And you can check those both out, and it's we'll have some links in there and stuff. But it's MEDUS, Metis, and go check those out. On everywhere you find us, you can find his stuff too. So we really appreciate Metis for being a big part of that. Not only being our first guest and and a repeat guest, but just being a good friend of the podcast, and ally, and we really appreciate that. And our second elder of Weirdsville, which is the top tier currently of our tiered Patreon, is the one and only Mrs. Head Cheese.
Fantastic.
And we really appreciate you joining in and being part of that. And both Head Cheeses is for being fans and friends of the show. That's
awesome.
Well.
That's awesome. Thank you guys. That's great.
Yes. And that helps out a lot, and we'll be we're going to be kind of like podcast moving in the future, so that'll help pay for the moving bills. Not literally pay for moving, because we're not physically moving; it's all digital. But it's what I'm saying, metaphorically.
Yes.
It'll help with that, and it just helps us bring you the show. And if you guys are so inclined to be a Patreon patron, look us up, the What's Your Weird Story at Patreon, and we appreciate your help. That's one way you can help us. Another way, just keep listening, keep telling people about the show. Take their smartphones, go to wherever they listen to their music and their podcast, find our podcast, subscribe for them. Make them listen to it. It's going to pop up, so add them, subscribe, take their account for iTunes and go and write us a review in their name. Big review, high, many stars. Do that with your friends, with your coworkers, with your children. Maybe not your children. They probably shouldn't be listening to some of these episodes. True. Like this one, probably. Anytime Sam's on, really don't let your kids listen.
100%.
But tell, spread the word about the show. Be a part of it. And, just email us, send us messages, let us know what you think on our various social medias, and, thank you for being, our friends.
Absolutely.
I don't think people tell their friends enough, thank you for being their friends. Barry, I will say thank you. For being my friend. I don't think actually I have to say that to you anymore. We've known each other all our lives. We don't have to thank each other.
Absolutely.
But still, Barry, thank you for always being such a good and constant friend.
Thanks, man. And you as well.
Well, thank you.
That's important.
Yeah. So thank you out there, everybody, for being our friends and for joining us once again on the What's Your Weird Story podcast. Next week, we got some good stuff for you next week. It's going to be another two-parter. We've been kind of hearing that sometimes the longer episodes are better if we can split them up, spread them out into two episodes. We've got our guest Lonnie, and we also have our special correspondent and resident Bigfoot expert, Jeff Hubbard, joining next week.
This is a good one, guys. This is a good one. He's got so many stories and cool stuff. So tune in because we run the gamut.
Yeah. So we're starting off with what initially prompted the interview, or I don't ever really like the interview because we're not really interviewing people. We're just talking to people and having conversations and everything. But the first part is what brought us to the gate is Bigfoot.
Nice. Yeah.
We love some Bigfoot. We love Bigfoot.
It. Yeah.
And of course, that's why we got Jeff along.
That's right. It's a good one.
And then we'll follow up that next week with some really spectacular UFO stuff.
Awesome.
As well.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Those are good. Yeah, for sure.
Lonnie's a great guest. And man, 2 all-star episodes coming up.
Definitely.
Right there. So yeah. Join us. Be safe.
Be weird.
As always, if you have a weird story, we want to hear it.
If you have a lot of them, we want to hear them all.
We can't do this podcast without your invaluable contributions.
Whether it's sharing your stories,
listening,
rating,
and spreading the word about the podcast. Thanks for listening. Till next time, be safe.
Be weird.
The stories presented on the What's Your Weird Story podcast are, to our knowledge, true experiences that our guests have had. We can't take the time to research all claims made, and besides, it's just not as fun.